that's a no-brainer to me, and that is problem-based thinking. Right? And a business today with its products and services must be able to clearly demonstrate that their products and services solve a particular problem for their target market. Now, what I mean by this is that we're all so busy in this economy, we're all so busy and we're sick of being interrupted with advertising messages and whatnot, so we shut our brains down to that sort of thing and whatnot. But society in general, we've all got problems. We've got problems in our day-to-day lives and problems in a foreseeable future and whatnot. So a business that automatically has products and services that attracts our attention because they solve one of our problems, it's instant success, right? And of course there's a lot of hard work around there, building up the right messages to put out there, but it's really that problem-based thinking, right? And two things come out of that. One, if you've got a problem-based thinking approach, a problem-based thought approach to, producing your products and services, one, you're constantly always innovating. You're constantly in a cycle of innovation because, once you produce a product and service, there'll be problems that product and service will solve, but there'll be other problems that society in general develops, For instance, the greatest example of this was the entire Apple history. Right now, Steve Jobs always wanted to create these beautiful looking computers and whatnot, but no one cared at the time when he first put together all this stuff because the whole world was focusing on IBM and PC compatible products, right? So what Steve Jobs did was he really had this desire to do stuff, but then he focused on, what was different, what was unique, what problems does his competitors, the PCs, have? And they just were ugly looking things, And so he recognized there was a whole bunch of people out there, an entire market, that really had a problem with the way the traditional design of the computer was. And he tapped into that market, and that grew even further. And taking on the Apple story even further, how he came up with the iPhone was that he sat down and he had a look at all the problems with the existing smartphones. They were clunky, they weren't very nice to look at, they were their user interface wasn't really that crash hot. So he took all these problems that a certain sector of the market had, right, and he solved it for them. He gave him the iPhone, and now you look at the market penetration rates with the iPhone, it's huge, right? But he did not stand on his soapbox and start yelling and screaming and like, look at us, we're so fantastic, we're cool and all that. He didn't, right? He spoke to those people who had those problems, and I think the actual lines was, Apple, we believe in challenging the status quo. There are people out there that struggled with challenging the status quo. That was their problem. Right, but instantly, if you look and see the way he did his marketing, and the way Apple did its marketing, and the way thousands of businesses, thousands of successful companies do their marketing, all the successful ones solve a problem, right? And I see this mistake being made in all these industries across the board with smaller businesses, in that they honestly believe that their products and services are fantastic, something new, something shiny, something wonderful, and yet no one really cares. So when they do their marketing, no one really buys their stuff, and their sales just die, and the company dies afterwards. But if you flip the script and you always have a look at what problem does your products and service actually solve, and then tap into the market that has that problem, then you'll always be a winner. Now the caveat to that is that if you produce a product or service that really solves a problem, but it's not really a major problem, then you're not going to get much sales to it, So the way around that is to think about what problem does your products and service solve. Is it really an important problem enough for your target market to pull out their wallets and buy from you? And if it's not, maybe that's because one, they don't quite understand the problem that they've got, or two, it's just not a deep enough problem for them. So things like that, you really got to look at. So the number one secret to business success is having what I call problem-based thinking. Think about what your products and services, what problems your products and services solve for your target market.